Alright, here's a quick little overview of some of the things I've been working on with this here plane. This is the EDF version. One of the things I've done is changed out the receiver. This is the new access receiver from FreeSky, which is supposed to be better than the older versions and has some built-in telemetry in it. And the reason for this change here is to add redundancy to the plane. You can bind this receiver for 8 or 16 channels. So right now the receiver is bind for 16 channels and is fed from a S-bus port into this RB20 board, which is expanding the giving me the 15 channels, 16 channels that I need, and you're able to split off your moving surfaces on their own channels if you want, and that's what I've done. And it also allows for the telemetry and the redundancy system to work. So that's what this board is all about. So each aileron is on its own channel, each elevator is on its own channel, the rudder's on a channel by itself, flaps I left them on a channel by itself. Then I needed channels that's going to control the lights that I have on the wingtips, the landing lights on the plane, and I believe there was something else going on that I needed additional channels for. So as you can see right now, these lights are off. These are these Easylights. They come with a battery in them, and there's a button that you would press, like this one here. There's a button. If you press the button, you have 3 different modes. There's one, there's another mode, there's third mode, and you push the 4th time, it turns it off. Well, what I did is hardwire these lights into the plane. The hardest part is getting this bottom plate off, and as you can see, there's a battery here that has to be unsoldered. These tabs over here, unsolder the battery. You can leave the switch as if this, I pull this plastic piece out, which is controlling the button. You can leave this button as is if you want it to be able to control the different flash modes. Well, I chose not to do that because I don't want to go around pressing the buttons, period. And the other thing you don't have to worry about is recharging the batteries anymore. So I put a jumper across the switch inside here. I believe I made a video how I actually did this, but I'll make one later on. And you put a jumper across that switch, so whenever you apply power to the plane, these lights are automatically going to come on, but you're only going to have the one mode. The other thing I started doing with this, originally was going to run this on a 12-volt system, because the afterburner light on the rear needs 12 volts, whereas all the other lights don't need 12 volts. So you can use 5 volts to run all the other lights. So after putting in the redundancy system, I didn't need the 12 volts anymore. So what I have in the rear of the plane, which I'll show in a bit, is a power distribution board, so that I can reduce my power to voltage down to whatever I need. This is a voltage regulator, and on the side here there's a little silver piece here. You can adjust the voltage to whatever you want. I think it allows up to 24 volts in, and whatever you want to dial it down to, but I have it dialed down to like I said, 5 volts, and that handles all the other lights pretty good. I'll show the back of that a little bit later, but here's If I power on the plane, and this is a magnetic switch which turns power on to the receiver, and this RB20 board which also supplies the power to all the servos on the plane. The EDF fan runs on its own power pack by itself. So, and I have two batteries here. There's two batteries that goes into this power distribution board. I have two of these here sitting in the bottom of this. The other thing I did, I cut this tray out. There was a tray in here which the flight pack batteries sit on, but they don't sit evenly. And the other thing was, it was hard for me to get in here with the wiring. I had to feed the wiring underneath the board, but they got to be a pain in the neck, which I realized I had to do some rewiring and straighten out some things. So I cut this whole thing out of here. So I'm going to build another battery tray, have it sit on top of here and bolt it down, and then the batteries will sit nice and flush, because they don't sit flush the way it is here. So once I build that other tray, everything will sit flush, and if I need to go back under here, I can just unscrew that tray and work on whatever wires I need. If I decide to add something in later on, I can do that as well. Okay, so here I'm going to power on the plane. Okay, sometimes this magnet isn't very strong, so let me remagnetize this thing. Alright, gotta do something with this magnet because it isn't okay. Alright, see, that's on. The receiver's powered up. This board is powered up. See, the lights are on the top. This one in the back. There's also the afterburner light is in the rear, but that needs 12 volts. I'm gonna have to wire that up to the balance lead of the power pack to the plane. I'm gonna put the gear up. The gear lights are on right now because I powered up, but once I put the gear up there, they will go off automatically. Okay, door closed. I lower the gear, they will come on automatically.
Gear down.
Okay, and I also have the option of turning those off. If the plane was just sitting on the ground for a long time, it's still powered on, I have the option of turning off the landing gear lights on a switch. Oh, hit the wrong switch. Alright, well, those are the I guess I would call those the inner landing lights on the wingtips. They're on a switch by itself, but they work independently from the landing gear. But now here's the switch for, I can override the landing gear lights. They're back on, and then when the gear goes up, they will automatically go off. Okay, and I'll blow them again, and they'll automatically come back on. They're set on a timer, so yeah, I have them set to a timer, so once the gear is partially down, then the lights will come on. And then again, I can override that if I want. I can turn it off, on, then I can turn these on. Like I said, these are not attached to the landing gear, so I can turn these on at will at any time. And that's pretty much it as far as the how I wired up everything. Okay, now I can, there again, using this here magnetic switch, I can turn all the power off from the plane. Lights are off. Power to the receiver and the redundancy board. It's off. I'll show you. I have to put the camera down. I'll show you where the power distribution board is. It's actually back. It's underneath the plane. All right, I'm gonna put the camera down. All right, I've got to have a mess of wires here. This is underneath, if you can see that. Yeah, the camera's showing it. This is where I mounted the power distribution board, and the voltage regulators are actually behind that. That board sits where the speed controller is mounted at. So that's in the rear, I guess the rear firewall. Yeah, I got a mess of wires back here, and that's it.